Hey, what's up everybody, Stunt35 here, bringing you guys another collection update video. And today's collection update video, I'm going to be showing you guys my my original Xbox collection, and showing off all of the original Xbox games I own in my collection as of the time of recording this video. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start into it. Also, throughout this video, I'll also be making note about which games I found out aren't backwards compatible, and by backwards compatible, I mean like you cannot play the game, can't be played on an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X, S, whatever. Like, I mean, completely non-backwards compatible. I mean, it's still on the original Xbox. You would need an original Xbox to play it. So I made a little note, as I was getting these games together for this video. So I'll, try to keep mention to you guys of what games are not backwards compatible at all, meaning you will still need an original Xbox to play them. First game up is Advent Rising. I had heard about this game before over the years. I'd always seen it, but I never played because this is an Xbox exclusive game. It was never on the PS2 and stuff. And I've heard of this game for years. I've never played it before. I always wanted to kind of like give it a chance to look pretty interesting. Now, I know this game isn't very well received. I know this game was like, pretty notorious for being pretty bad, but I still wanted to, give the game a fair chance myself, and try it out and just see, maybe I might get some enjoyment out, or maybe I might agree with people and see and find out that it is trash. But I usually like to give games a shot on my own just to see what they're like myself, and maybe it's not the first, it wouldn't be the first time I've liked or thought a game was pretty decent when, like, a lot of people said it wasn't all that good. So I don't know, I always like to, if a game interests me enough, I'll still want to give it a fair chance, even if the initial, overall reception of the game isn't that well received. But that's just me, though. Next game is Armed and Dangerous. This is a third-person shooter that's, from what I've seen of it, is pretty wacky. I don't remember seeing this game like when it first came out, but like years and years ago, I like randomly stumbled across this playthrough channel that uploaded a playthrough of this. I remember watching some of that playthrough all those years ago. I think this game looked pretty wild, and I kind of like never thought about it. I kind of forgot about it over time. And then when I started building my my list of original Xbox games I wanted to get, I remember this game. I looked up gameplay of a game. I was like, this game still looks pretty fun, so I decided I'd buy it. I have not played it or cracked into it just yet, so I haven't gotten to play it just yet, but I will at some point. This game has some pretty wacky guns. Like, I think that's a shark gun right there, and they have this other weapon in it called, like, I think it's called like the topsy-turvy gun or whatever, where like you have like this drill thing, whatever, you stick it into the ground and turn it, and the entire world in the game just flips upside down, and all the enemies fall down like towards where the sky used to be at, and you flip the world back over and they fall out of the sky and hit the ground. It's a pretty freaking crazy looking weapon. So there's stuff like that, plus the overall humor in this game, so like, it's pretty fun too. So I decided I'd buy this game because I wanted to play and give it a chance at some point. Next up is Black. This game rocks. I really enjoyed Black. It's basically just like yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All guns blazing. It's just like a first-person shooter, but like the presentation of this game is really, really good. Like, if you enjoy shooters, if you enjoy first-person games, you'd love the heck out of Black. Black rocks. It doesn't have like like the best story. It's not a game you would really play for like story or anything. It's basically just an excuse to go from like one level to the next and nuke things on the way there and all that. But this is one of those games where it's like, what, freak the story. It's all about just gameplay, just blowing stuff up. If you ever just want to play a game, you just want to just like blow up everything and shoot everything like a freaking big budget Hollywood movie or something. I just have pure, unadulterated action and fun. Definitely go with Black. This game is really good. It's really fun. I like the presentation of this game a whole lot. It's actually a really nice game. Gun porn, by the way. Next up is Blinks, the Time Sweeper for the original Xbox. I remember seeing Blinks a long time ago on the original Xbox. I never actually played it though. Actually, I think the closest I did come to playing Blinks a long time ago was one time randomly in, like, I think it was Walmart. You remember when they used to have, you know, back around this era, they used to have like those kiosks where you could play like games and demos and stuff from whatever was hooked up at the kiosk. I think there was one demo kiosk at Walmart that had Blinks on it, and I messed around with that a little bit. That's the only time I've ever touched anything with Blinks. But you know, like I said, I was building my list of original Xbox games, you know, that I wanted to buy. Remembered the Blinks game, so I wanted to get these and try them out and see what they're like. Haven't played it yet, but I want to at some point, because it looks like it's pretty interesting with the rewind feature and stuff like that. Okay, so next up is the first game in the list I've compiled that I believe is not backwards compatible at all. And like I said earlier, when I say a game is not backwards compatible, I mean that you can't play it on the 360, an Xbox One S, or an Xbox Series SX or whatever. Like, you have to have an original Xbox to play this game essentially. And the first game I noticed that's like that is Blinks 2, Masters of Time and Space. And it's pretty much this is the sequel to Blinks, the Time Sweeper. It's another one that I have not played yet, but I bought it, you know, just in case I enjoyed the first Blinks. I can, you know, already have the second one, which I'm glad I did, because I think the second one has like gone up in price some over the years, since I got this. So I'm glad I have my copy now. But you know, when I looked up and did my research, I cross-checked like 2 different lists, and you know, it seems like, as far as my knowledge knows, this is not backwards compatible at all. So you have to have an original Xbox to play Blinks 2. Blinks 1 is backwards compatible on the 360, I believe, and even the Xbox One, I think. But this one is not backwards compatible at all. So you will need an original Xbox to play this. Meaning, I'm going to need an original Xbox to play this. That is going to be a running theme through this video. Trust me. This next game, we're gonna get just a little spicy here. BMX XSX. Ooh. This freaking notorious game was just like, you know, BMX, you know, BMX tricks, BMX stuff. I mean, you know, it's just a BMX game. You know, I don't see what the big deal is. It's just a wholesome bike game. Yes. Yeah, it's, you know, basically, I guess it's sort of like the gameplay style is like, you know, Tony Hawk, you know, where you just go around and do tricks and stuff and clear, or in this game you just like clear missions and all that stuff. But it's BMX and it's XXX rated because, yes, I haven't really played this yet, but you know, I plan on at least seeing what it's like at some point. Next up is Breakdown. This game is really cool. I actually did a gameplay video of this a while back on my channel. I did a trying out video of this. I like this game so far. The presentation really impressed me a lot. It's a first person shooter, and it's like really detailed animations with stuff. You know, like they really went all in with the animations. I kind of like gushed about that a little bit in my playthrough video, but I've played through this a little bit. I haven't beaten the game yet. I got kind of stuck at the end of the video where I played through this. So this game gets pretty hard. Like, that was still like the first, I think it was still the first like level or overall area or whatever, and I was getting freaking rocked at the end of that level. This game got pretty hard, but I want to go back to and actually play all the way through and actually get through that part and see what the rest of the game was like, because at least from my initial impressions, this game was pretty cool. So I actually do want to get back into this and play it some more. Next up after that is Brute Force. This is I gotta get these freaking stickers over here. It's another like a series of games I have where I gotta get the stickers off. I mostly didn't worry about it because for a lot of these original Xbox games I have, I'm gonna have to replace the case anyways. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that like little whatever that is. Like, I don't know what the heck that is. I don't know if you can see it on the case or not, but stuff like that is why I really want to replace the cases. So I'm not really worried about stickers. I'm just gonna take the case off, you know, replace it anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But Brute Force, this is another game that I did that I did a playthrough. Well, I didn't do a playthrough. I did a gameplay video of me trying this game out and stuff like that. This is a third-person shooter. Well, it's actually a third-person squad-based shooter. I think it even has multiplayer up to like 4 players too. And I believe this game was made with the Halo engine. I think that's what one of the advertisements said about this game, that the engine that runs Halo runs this game as well. And this game was pretty cool from what little bit I played though. It's another one that I want to get all the way through and you know, play some more and see what else the rest of the games. I like this game for what little bit I played though. It was pretty fun. However, I do think I might need to get a new disc, because when I was playing it, I noticed the character audio voices in this game kind of skip a little bit when I was playing it. So I might have to get me a new disc, but the rest of the game is fine. And who puts a sticker on a manual? Like, good lord, you should be in jail. God, I can't stand that. You put it on the manual, I really do. But yeah, I'm gonna replace this whole case, get a new disc, and really clean this game up some. Okay, the next game that I have is Chase Hollywood Stunt Driver. I saw a gameplay of this. Actually, this is well, not recently, but you know, a couple of months back, I saw a gameplay of this. It wasn't on my radar initially, but I saw a gameplay of it and thought it looked pretty cool. It's basically like those Stuntman games. If anyone's ever played any of the Stuntman games, which I haven't played any of the Stuntman games, I heard they were good and hard, especially the first one. But this game is basically like Stuntman. It's funny, they even like roast Stuntman on the back of the case of this. Like there's 2 separate quotes that straight up just throw shade at Stuntman, which I thought was pretty funny. But you know, you play as her and you're like the stunt driver, so you like drive and complete tasks to do stunts for you know, like these various Hollywood movies and all that stuff. And it looked pretty fun from the gameplay I saw, so I decided to pick it up and play. It's pretty cheap too. I'm gonna have to get replace this case as well, because you can see the freaking thing is torn. So yeah, I have a lot of original Xbox cases I'm gonna have to replace, and the sticker residue and stuff where they took the sticker off. So this is another one I have to replace. And also, this game is another that is not backwards compatible. As far as I know, when I looked it up, you can't play this on a 360 or an Xbox One or an Xbox Series S or X. So this is another non-backwards compatible game, to the point where you're gonna need an original Xbox to play this. So it means like I can't play this right now anyways. Thanks, Phil Spencer. Next game on the list is Crimson Skies High Road to Revenge. I never remember seeing anything or hearing anything about this game when it originally came out, whenever that was. So you know, when I was doing research and looking up on all the original Xbox games and stuff, I came across this through that, and I thought this looked kind of cool, so I put it on my list of original Xbox games to buy at some point. And I did eventually. Dude, this thing has cheat codes, and I forgot about that. Y'all remember when games used to have cheat codes? But yeah, I bought this game, and after putting it on my list after seeing it, I thought it looked pretty cool. And this game must be pretty good, because even when I went to the went up to the counter to purchase this game, the guy at the counter said, "Oh man, this game is really good. It's a lot of fun." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, that's pretty cool." And since, you know, even since then and a little bit before when I was researching this game, I've heard people say this game is supposed to be really good and pretty fun. So I'm pretty excited to try it out. If it's really as fun as I've seen a lot of people saying it is. So that's gonna be pretty cool. It's like it's a flight game. You know, you just like fly around these planes and do missions and things like that. It looks pretty cool. So yeah, I've been hearing people say good things about it, so I'm pretty excited to get into and try it out. Next up I have is Dead Man's Hand. Now this is yet another non-backwards compatible game, so you have to have an original Xbox to play this, as far as my research is aware. I mean, if you guys want to, like, you know, double check me or anything on some of these, you're more than welcome to. But as far as I'm aware, you have to have an original Xbox to play this. And this copy I have here is freaking shameful. It's like so crusty and just like torn and all that stuff. Like, I don't even know if I can show, if you can like see the the wear and tear on it as much, but it just looks so like bad. Like even like look at the disc. Look at that, man, the freaking stickers, all that. It's just trash. It didn't even come with a manual. Shameful. The reason why I ended up like this is because I had the place I usually get some of these games from had a online only like deal. So I, ordered a couple games on the online store, and the other ones arrived fine and in good condition, how I liked them and stuff. But then like they just handed me like the freaking the most. I guess it must have been like the last copy of this game at the bottom of the freaking barrel or something like that. Because this game came in looking freaking rough. So I gotta I'm pretty much just gonna get a whole new copy of this game, and I get a whole new case, disc, something with a manual. I'm gonna have to get a whole new copy of this game, but I'm not too mad about it because this game isn't too expensive. Luckily, it's still a pretty cheap and affordable game, so I'm not really mad about having to get a whole new copy of this game. It's whatever. But yeah, this junk is disgusting. But yeah, it's like a Western themed first-person shooter. I've seen gameplay of it. When I looked it up, thought it looked pretty fun, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Okay, so next game in the list is Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. And yes, I did buy this game for the plot. How dare you? No, but this is like the first ever, this is like the beginning of like the Dead or Alive Beach volleyball thing, and like the spin-off from the Dead or Alive fighting games. I have not played this myself either yet, because this is yet another non-backwards compatible game, so you're going to need an original Xbox to play this. So all I can do is just sit here and look at it on my shelf. I can't even play it yet. Thanks, Phil Spencer. Freaking yet another non-backwards compatible game that I can't play, so you have to have an original Xbox for this. Next up is something a little more wholesome. That's Dreamfall: The Longest Journey. I've seen this game before years ago. I want to say it was like, I don't know, it was an episode of X-Play or something. I can't remember. It was around that time. I saw this game somewhere and I looked at it. I didn't really think too much of it at the time. I was like, okay, that looks like kind of cool. And then when I was doing, looking up original Xbox games I wanted to play, I saw this game and watched a little bit of gameplay videos of it. I thought, this looks kind of interesting. I'll at least give this game a try and see what it's like. It's basically an adventure game, like those old, kind of older school style adventure games where you walk around and interact with stuff and solve puzzles and move the storyline that way. It's kind of like what this is. And I know there's other games in this Dreamfall is a series, and I realized over time there's other games in this series, but this is the first one I'm playing. I don't think this is the first Dreamfall game. I think there's other ones, but I know this is a whole series. But I guess this will be my jumping off point for this series. So I thought this one looked kind of cool from what kind of interesting from what I've seen of it. So I would like to give this a chance at some point, but unfortunately I can't do that right now because I gotta stay. Otherwise, this is another non-backwards compatible game, so you will need an original Xbox to play this on. As far as I'm aware, it's not compatible. It's not available for the 360 or this Xbox Series 1 or X or S, as far as I'm aware. Next is Gun Valkyrie. Yet more stickers I got. Oh, look at this, man. Freaking stickers are the bane of my existence. Here's Gun Valkyrie for the original Xbox. God dang, it has a sticker on the back. And it's covering up whoever that is. Sheesh. This is another game that I discovered through, my research of looking up original Xbox games. It's like a third-person shooter type game. He plays I don't know her name. I only saw a little bit of gameplay, at least to be able to gauge my interest in it. But you play as her. I guess she's the Gun Valkyrie or whatever. You can it's a third-person shooter. You go around and fight a bunch of enemies and things of that nature. Like I said, I only watched enough gameplay to gauge my interest in whether or not I wanted to actually get this. So I didn't look too deep into what it actually is. So that way, in case I did want to play, I didn't want to see too much of the story, spoil too much of the game for myself. So I looked up enough to be hey, this looks pretty cool. So I decided to buy it. Have not played it yet, but luckily I believe this is a backwards compatible game, so I can play this on a 360 or the Xbox One or whatever. But it looked pretty cool, so I decided I'd get it. Next is Jade Empire. It's a BioWare developed RPG. I hear good things about this before too. Now this one I know I've seen on an episode of I think it was actually an episode of Cheat. If anybody remembers the show Cheat from the good old G4 era, I believe there was an episode of Cheat that talked to that was a whole episode dedicated to this game. And I thought it looked kind of cool when I was watching that episode. I'm like, that looks pretty fun. Looks like it might be a pretty fun game, but I did not have an original Xbox at the time, so this is why I'm getting into collecting original Xboxes. I only had a PS2 for the most part, and then later on I got a GameCube. I never owned an original Xbox back in that era, so that's why I'm like buying these games now to make up for lost time and try out stuff that I saw years ago and thought looked pretty cool like this. So now I have Jade Empire and gonna this action RPG and gonna try it out at some point and see how good it is. I hear good things about it, so I'm pretty excited to try it one of these days. Next up we got here is I think it's pronounced Kaikuto Chojin Back Alley Brutal. This is a versus fighting game right here. I gotta replace the case for this too, because I don't know if you see it. For some reason this is like torn here for whatever reason. I mean, at least the artwork is fine. I'd be upset if the artwork was torn, but at least it's just this. I can just replace the case on this like I gotta do with most of these original Xbox games, so I'm not too worked up about it. But yeah, this is a one-on-one versus fighter that I found out initially. I actually found out about this game through the music. Like, this is one of those games where like I heard the soundtrack from somewhere or something like that, and I looked it up and looked into what the soundtrack was, and I looked into the game. I thought the game looked kind of cool, so I'm like, hey, I actually want to try this out and play it. So on the list of Xbox games to hunt down, it went. And eventually at one point I found this game at the store, bought it, and now that I do have it, now I can play it whenever I get around to it. However, I was gonna have to wait till I can get an original Xbox, because yet again, this is yet another non-backwards compatible original Xbox game. So you will need an original Xbox to play this. This did not get made backwards compatible. Thanks, Phil Spencer. Now, I think the reason why this game isn't backwards compatible is probably because of the music in it. Like, I guess they couldn't, have like music licensing issues or something like that, which is actually, it's kind of funny because this game actually has a pretty interesting little background history about the music in this game that I found out about. So basically, this game, one of the characters, each character has like their own arena or fight theme song or whatever. And then basically, there's this one character in this game that has a fight theme to where like it has these lyrics in it, and in the lyrics in the character's theme is basically lyrics from the I hope I say this right. I hope I pronounce this right. It's basically lyrics from this thing called the Quran. I hope I said that right. It's basically like Islamic. The Quran is like the Islamic text. I guess like the Islamic version of the Bible or something like that. And basically, it had one of the character songs has words from that text being like kind of sung in the background, but apparently according to like Islamic religion, you're not really supposed to sing the words of the Islamic text, and the developers that made this didn't really know that, so they kind of just put it in the game not really knowing that, and they didn't find out about that not being able to do that until after the game released. So initially this game had to get recalled when it first came out, so they could remove like the singing in the game, remove the singing of the Islamic text in the game. Like as far as I'm aware, the theme is still in there. Like the character's theme song is still the same. It's just they removed them singing the lyrics from the Quran in the song. So there's some copies of this game that I get. Well, I don't know how many. I don't know how you find out about or how many copies or whatever. But there's some copies of this game that will probably still have the Islamic text being sung in the background of the theme. There's other versions of this game that won't have the theme being sung. It'll be the edited out version. Now I have no idea how to tell which version is which. Like, I don't know. Maybe, you know, if someone can do like a deep dive and get really into it and be able to figure out, like, I don't know, like SKU numbers, or, you know, some kind of purchase history or something like that. I don't know. Maybe be able to like read the numbers on a disc or something like that, be able to figure out, you know, which version, be able to tell which version is the edited version, which version is the unedited version. Like, I haven't played my copy, so I can't tell or test out if my version of the game is edited or not. I have no idea. I don't know how to tell anyways. But yeah, it's just an interesting little history tidbit about the music in this game that I found out a while ago after I, you know, found out about this game through the music and looked into the game and stuff. Cause I had never heard about this game before that, which is a shame because this music in this game is freaking awesome. Seriously, if you never play this game, at least look up this game's soundtrack on the on YouTube. This game's soundtrack is really, really good. It's what made me want to get this game. When I heard it, I'm like, hey, I gotta check this. even the freaking song that caused controversy, it sounds kind of lit with the way they have like the Quran lyrics in it. It sounds pretty good. But yeah, and fun fact, this actually isn't even the only game that have that happen to. There's a couple other games that have had that Islamic text being sung that had to get edited out before. This isn't the only game that's done that, interestingly enough. And sorry about the huge rant. I just wanted to go in on this game with a little bit of like fun fact and detail. So yeah, I was on that one for a little bit. Alright, next up is Mad Dash Racing. This is a on foot racing game. So when you race, instead of racing in a carts or whatever, all the characters are on foot. You have to race through like this kind of, you know, obstacle course type thing to run through here. And I looked up gameplay of this when I was looking up the original Xbox game, so I don't think I remember ever seeing or hearing about this game when it initially came out. So this is another like newish kind of find I found out about. Also, two tidbits about this game. In this, I'm pretty sure it's in this game right here, you can actually unlock Gex the Gecko from like the Gex into the Gecko games. You can actually unlock him as a character in here and actually play as him, which that's pretty cool. And the other tidbit about this game is I think this is supposed to be kind of like a sequel to another game like this on the PS1. I think it's called Running Wild. I think the game on the PS1 is called Running Wild, and it's essentially the same thing as this, and it's an on-foot racing game. I think Mad Dash is supposed to be kind of like a sequel to it, or somewhat sequel to it. But yeah, this is yet another non-backwards compatible game, by the way. So we got 2 in a row now that you have to have, as far as I'm aware. When I looked it up and the stuff I found out, as far as I'm aware, you have to have an original Xbox to play this. Thanks, Phil Spencer. Next is Otogi 2 Immortal Warriors. This is actually a FromSoft game. This was before their Dark Souls arc that they're currently on right now, but it's basically, I guess it would be pretty similar to the Souls games. You know, you have a third person kind of action-like game. It's from software, so of course, you know, this game's supposed to be pretty difficult from what I've heard. I've not played it yet. I don't think I was even aware of the Otogi games before this. You know, like a lot of other games. You know, I do my research and I'm looking up original Xbox games. I find out about these, and this was one I found out about. Heard it was pretty good and looked pretty fun, so I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and buy this and try it out. I have not tried it out yet. Now, I believe this is backwards compatible, so I can at least play this, you know, whenever I get the feeling to get around to wanting to play it. And next up is Otogi Myth of Demons. I showed the second one first because I was trying to do this in alphabetical order, so like the alphabetical thing, the second because of the subtitle. So the second game I showed first, and now I'm showing the first game. This is like the original Otogi. This is the first one. This one's also backwards compatible, thankfully, so I can play this too. This is, you know, basically like, this is, you know, the same thing as the first one. It's the first game in this little series here. But yeah, like I said, I believe this one's backwards compatible too, so I can play this whenever I get around to it, and the sequel. So that's pretty good. Next, we got Outlaw Volleyball. I remember seeing these Outlaw games like years ago, but I never played any of them at the time because they have quite a few. They have the Outlaw Volleyball, they have Outlaw Golf, Outlaw Tennis. Never played any of these, but I thought they looked pretty fun. They're like, they're arcadey, they're sports games, but they're arcadey and more over the top, which, I can play sports games that they're arcadey and over the top. So I thought, I looked into these Outlaw games, and this one seemed like the most fun. I think about maybe trying out, if I like this enough, I might try out Outlaw Tennis or something like that. Not the biggest fan of golf, and even though Outlaw Golf's wacky and over the top stuff, I don't know, maybe I've just never been that big on golf myself, but at least I have the volleyball one, so that's pretty cool. Next up is Outlaw Volleyball Red Hot. This is essentially kind of like a little like add-on or additional thing to the first Outlaw Volleyball. Basically, this one just like takes place on one court that just happens to be in hell, and you get like exclusive like costumes and stuff for it. Like I said, it's just kind of like a little like add-on thing or a little bit of additional expansion to Outlaw Volleyball Red Hot. This was also a Blockbuster exclusive, so that's pretty interesting. So I'm like, you know what? I have the first Outlaw Volleyball. When I played that one for a little bit, it was pretty fun. I looked into Red Hot and decided to get this, and I got them on the Xbox because, apparently, like I said, this is only on the Xbox. So in order to get both Outlaw games, you would have to get to be able to play both volleyball games, you need to get them on the Xbox. I think there is a version of Outlaw Volleyball that came out on the PS2, but I think it's like a little bit different than the original Outlaw Volleyball. Plus, you can't get this one, so I decided to just go for the Xbox versions for these. Next up here is Outrun II. This is the I've heard of Outrun, but I've not played an Outrun game before. This is basically like a arcade racing game where you just race through, different stages and still try to get to the end as fast as you can. Or, in this one, I think it has like, you can do that, or it has like different little mini games or something like that too. Additionally, you can play. Now, I don't think this one is backwards compatible either. I don't think this is backwards compatible at all. When I looked up, I didn't see anything that said that it specifically wasn't backwards compatible, and I haven't like opened this game yet to test it out because I just haven't gotten around to it. So I can't test it. I haven't tested it on my Xbox 360 or my Xbox One yet. So I'm not sure. As far as I'm aware, this right now this isn't backwards compatible. If you guys know any better or whatever, you can feel free to tell me in the comments or anything, but I my guess that this wouldn't be backwards compatible is probably because of the music. I don't know if it has licensed music, but I'm pretty sure the music would be the reason why this isn't backwards compatible if it's not. Now you may notice this is Outrun 2 and not Outrun 2 Coast to Coast. There's two different ones. I think they're basically the same game, but I think Coast to Coast has like some extra like tracks to race on and a couple extra features. But I'll just settle with Outrun 2. It's essentially the same game, just without like a little bit of extras. Plus, Coast to Coast is way too freaking expensive at this point, so I'll just settle with Outrun 2. I mean, it's basically the same game, just don't get like a couple of extra things. As long as I can play essentially the game, I'm happy with that, so I'm fine with it. Next up here we got is a Panzer Dragoon Orta. This is I've been aware and I've heard of the Panzer Dragoon series, but I've never played one. I've never played a Panzer Dragoon game before, but I do have this. Was the first Panzer Dragoon game I bought during my quest to buy whatever Xbox games that look the most interesting to me. Comes with all this like cool extra stuff and the manual and all that. And I hear good things about the Panzer Dragoon games. It's just like I said, haven't gotten around to playing it. It's basically an on-rails shooter where you ride on a dragon, you like fly through these areas and shoot down targets and all that stuff. They look fun a lot, and this is the first one I bought, so I can't wait to get into this at some point, because I hear good things about it. I do have the Panzer Dragoon remake, because they remade the original game, and I actually bought that on the PSN store for like, it was just $1.50 or something like that actually. So I own the original Panzer Dragoon remake that I bought for like $1.50 PSN store now, and then on this one too, so I can kind of dabble in Panzer Dragoon a little bit, you know, whenever I get around to it, which I hope to be at some point. Next on the list is this game called Raids as Hell. I like the look and the idea and the look and the concept of this game is pretty amusing to me, so which is why when I saw it, I wanted to buy it and try it out. You basically, like, you play as this guy named Ray's. I think that's what his name is, Ray's. Let's see if I find a good picture. You basically play as him though, and apparently I don't know like the story deeply. I just looked into the gameplay. Apparently these like little cute, cuddly looking bright colorful creatures invade his planet and they start doing bad stuff or whatever, so you have to get rid of them and get rid of them quite violently. I just like the contrast. So you have like this dark brooding guy running around and violently killing and slaughtering these little like cuddly alien looking things. It just looks like a weird and funny contrast to me. So I'm like, when I saw this game, I'm like, yeah, I need to get this. I really want to see what this is about. This is pretty cool. But unfortunately, yet again, like so many other games in my collection, I don't believe this is a backwards compatible game. Like when I looked, I didn't see anything that said it was on any backwards compatibility list, so I don't think I can play this on a 360 or anything. I think I have to get an original Xbox to play this, and it sucks. I mean, I want to get an original Xbox eventually at some point so I can play these games, but yeah, I can't even get into this right now, so it just like sits in my room for the time being so I can get an Xbox to play it. Next up in the list is this game called Spikeout Battle Street. This is another one that I was not aware of or had heard of at all before, you know, researching original Xbox games. Like, and then, you know, when I looked up, you know, stuff about original Xbox games and stuff, this is one of the ones I came across. Or so I can't even remember exactly how. There's some way or somehow I like stumbled across this game through like videos on YouTube, and I thought this game looked really sick, and I was like, man, I really want to play this, and I realized it was on the original Xbox, so I'm like, I'm gonna try to see if I can get it. I think this was like one of the earliest original Xbox games I bought. Like when I decided to finally start collecting for original Xbox, I don't think this was like the first ever game, but as far as I can remember, this is like one of the earlier original Xbox games that I bought to start off my collection with, and it looks pretty cool. So I'm trying to, hopefully you can see the screenshot as well, but basically it's a 3D beat 'em up, and it looks really fun and over the top and stuff. I was liking the way the gameplay looks when I saw this, so it looks pretty cool. And apparently this has Xbox Live as well, so I mean, I don't know if it still works by now, but you know, at the time it came out, I think you could play this online with 1 to 4 players. You can play this online with up to 4 players. Like I said, I don't know if that works now, but yeah, this is basically a 3D beat 'em up that I thought looked really sick, that I had never heard of before. I had never found out about this before this, so I wasn't even aware of this game's existence, but I'm glad I found out about it because it looks cool. And when I found out about this game, apparently this is originally an arcade game. So there's a game, I think it's just called Spikeout without the Battle Street subtitle. It's just called Spikeout. And that was an arcade only game, and then they made this. I don't know if this is like a home version of the arcade game or a sequel or upgrade. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I just remember finding out about this and then finding out about like the arcade only version of the Spikeout Battle Street. But of course, as with most games in my collection, I'm noticing at this point, this is a non-backwards compatible game, so I'm going to need to buy an OG Xbox at some point real soon to be able to play this. Like I said, I'm noticing with most of the games in my collection. Thanks, Phil Spencer. And seriously, until I sat down to like put this little tidbit together before I made this my collection video for the original Xbox, I did not realize how like most of my collection is unplayable right now because I don't have an original Xbox, and the Xbox's backwards compatibility only works with but so many games. That's exactly what I was talking about in that that YouTube short video I made. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it. You can like go back on my channel and check. I made like a YouTube short video complaining about Microsoft's backwards compatibility feature in the way it worked, because I couldn't play Rainbow Six Critical Hour. Like I went on that little mini rant about Microsoft's backwards compatibility thing, like, and they're not doing it anymore. Like the last games that they did, it was either earlier this year or last year. That was it. Those games that they made backwards compatible, that was it. They're not doing anymore. They said they're done with Microsoft. Microsoft said they're done with the backwards compatibility thing. So you know, at this point, whatever is on there is on there. Whatever is not on there is never getting on there. So I'm gonna like need to get myself an original Xbox at some point to be able to play. Seem like half of these games in my collection. What a shame. Next up we got here is Star Wars Republic Commando. I bought this game a while back. This is like it's pretty much like a first-person shooter, which has some like little squad-based moves. It's almost kind of, from what gameplay I've seen of it, it's almost a little bit kind of reminiscent of Rainbow Six. You know, it's in first person. You have the guy you can control, and you can issue commands to your squad mates and stuff like that. When I saw this, it made me think of the old Rainbow Six games. That's part of what made me want it. And the other part was just like, you know, it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty fun, so I decided to buy it. It's another game I'm gonna have to like replace the case on, because the case is kind of scuffed. But yeah, this game looked pretty cool. I'm gonna have to try it out at some point. Now this is backwards compatible as far as I'm aware on the list, so I actually can play this on the 360 or the One or whatever. So there's that. Next I got is this game called Still Life. This is another one of like the early original Xbox games that I found out about and bought when I started collecting for the original Xbox a few years ago. This is it's like an adventure game, you know, like it was kind of like old school era. I mean, it's not like old school era, but the style is like, you know, you walk around in these pre-rendered areas and stuff. You have to like, you know, interact with stuff and solve puzzles and all that stuff. It was kind of like older school era adventure games. Heck, the people that made this are called the Adventure Company. So yeah, they pretty much like the old school adventure era style game. It's like a investigative thriller. Like I even like investigative shows too. You know, I like watching a fair bit of investigation shows as well myself. And when I saw this, I thought this looked kind of interesting. I've never really played too many adventure games like this. Like I said, they're pretty much the only two adventure games I have right now is this and Dreamfall: The Longest Journey, which I'd have to look at the case again, but I think Dreamfall: The Longest Journey might also have been made by the Adventure Company. I think I didn't really look at the thing, but yeah, I think they both made these, but they're both like, you know, those older school style adventure games. This looks pretty cool, like I stated, so I wanted to buy it when I saw it. It's pretty cheap game, so like, you know what, I'm gonna give this game a chance. It's just something about this game that looks kind of interesting to me. When I first saw it, I watched like the first like couple minutes of game, you know, the first like 10-20 minutes of gameplay, and I like the main character's personality. I think her name is Victoria or something like that. She's like in the middle of an investigation, like just cracking jokes with some of the people in the series interacts with. I'm like, I like the main character of this game, like personality already. She seems pretty funny. So you know, it's just stuff like that that made me want to try this game out. Now, of course, as you know by now, my luck, this is yet another non-backwards compatible game, so you will have to have we'll need an original Xbox to play this game, which sucks because I actually wanted to play this already. Like, I mean, I want to play all these games here, but this is one of the ones I was going to start in on playing. I actually was going to play it like a couple years ago. I was actually going to sit down and play this, but then when I went to do it, I found out that this game is not playable on the 360. And it never got added to Microsoft's backwards compatibility, so I can't play this right now. This is going to be like one of the first like original Xbox games I actually sat down and wanted to play all the way through. So I'm gonna have to. that freaking made me. I'm like, yes. Thanks, Phil Spencer. Freaking Phil Spencer, her slacking, making me mad. I can't play this freaking game I didn't even know existed. Next here is Sudeki. This is I think this is an action RPG created by Climax. This is another one that I don't remember seeing anything about this game really back around when it came out. This is another one I found out through looking up original Xbox games. I thought this game looked kind of fun when I was looking up gameplay for it to see what it was like. So I added it to the list and wanted to buy it. And eventually, if got around to knocking it off the list, now I gotta knock it off the list of games I gotta play. And I can't do that, of course, because lo and behold, this is another non-backwards compatible game. So yeah, as far as I'm aware, when I looked, I didn't see this on the list that can be played on 360 or anything beyond that. So yeah, it's another non-backwards compatible game that I'm gonna have to wait till I can get an OG Xbox to play. But hey, you know, at least I have it. At least whenever I do get an original Xbox, I can actually play it then. Next here is ToeJam and Earl 3 Mission to Earth. I had before. Well, at the time I'd heard of ToeJam and Earl because I'd seen the Genesis one, which was the sequel, ToeJam and Earl 2 Panic on Funkotron. I never played that one because I never had a Genesis. It's just I've like seen the game and stuff, but I hadn't played that one. And I did play through. I actually bought and played through ToeJam and Earl Back in the Groove on the PS4. I thought that game was kind of fun. Then I remembered, oh wait a minute, wasn't there like a ToeJam and Earl game on the original Xbox or something like that? And I looked back and found out, yeah, there wasn't ToeJam and Earl for the original Xbox. So I was like, you know, I like Back in the Groove. I haven't played any of the other previous ToeJam and Earl games, so I thought I'd get this one and give it a try at some point. And this is yet another non-backwards compatible game because of course it has to be. But so yeah, I'm gonna need an OG Xbox for this. I also, when I got this, it came in like this really nice slip. Not really slip, it's protective case thing. And it makes me want to get a case just like this for all my Xbox. Actually, all my games in general. Like at some point, I would really like to buy some more protective cases like this and just put all my games in it to have that extra bit of protection in it. So yeah, I want to get some more cases like this. Just put them on. They're supposed to make them because it looks really nice in that protective case too, and keeps dust off it nice and all well also. So yeah, definitely I want to see if I can find some more of these to put on all of my games that I own in my collection. Alright, so we're in the home stretch. Next up I got is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3. This is a first-person squad-based shooter. Like I said, this is what the type of stuff is what Star Wars Republic Commando reminded me of. Well, really, I got into the Rainbow Six games with Rainbow Six Vegas. Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 were my introductions to the Rainbow Six games. Like the first Rainbow Six game I played was Vegas 1. I really liked that game, and then when Vegas 2 came out, I bought that one and played it, and I loved it. Vegas 2 is my favorite one. I was really sad when they said they weren't going to make any more Vegas games. And then at the time they said they were going to come out with Rainbow Six Patriots, but that went in a completely different direction, as you guys may know if you watched my video talking about the canceled games I wish got released. But yeah, after a while I was like, you know what, I'm getting the itch to play some older like Rainbow Six games, because I like this style of game. It's like first person shooter. Gotta play a little more slow, a little more tactical. Go in there and you can't play these games like Call of Duty. You really gotta take it slow and pay attention and take your time. I like games like that. That'd be a nice balance. Like it's not really a simulator type game, because if this was like a simulation or whatever, I wouldn't get that into, because I don't like hardcore deep simulation type games. But this is like a nice balance between it's like, it's more realistic, but it's still kind of video game like. Like I don't know, Rainbow Six. These older Rainbow Six games just hit that nice balance of like, it's a bit realistic but not overly realistic to the point where it becomes boring or annoying to play, but it's still video gaming. And to a degree, it just hits that perfect balance to me, which is why I liked Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, which was my introduction to this franchise. And I was getting the itch to play some older Rainbow Six games. I'm like, with the direction Ubisoft is going with Rainbow Six Siege, it's like I don't think they're gonna really make Rainbow Six games like this anymore. And this is the type of Rainbow Six I personally would like to play. I mean, you know, I hear good things about Siege and stuff like that. It's just I'm not that into competitive multiplayer games like that much anymore. So I skipped out on Siege, and I'm like, I really want to play like some more older, you know, kind of back to their older style Rainbow Six games. So that's why I bought I went and looked into what the original, those older Rainbow Six games were like and bought them. So this was the first one I bought. I did a gameplay video of this, so if you guys want to check that out, you're more than free to. Next here is the follow-up, Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow. This is, you know, the same thing, more Rainbow Six. Just other missions and things you can go on. This is another one that I did a gameplay video on, that you guys can check out if you want. It's pretty much the same thing as the other Rainbow Six game. Rainbow Six Block. Next up we got Rainbow Six Critical Hour. Now this is the game that spawned that freaking this is the game that spawned that freaking short that I made, complaining about Microsoft's backwards compatibility and how they handle it and stuff. Was while I was complaining about it, and you know, it's the result of me not being able to play half my collection without having to buy yet another Xbox. But yeah, this is the one that I couldn't play. I couldn't bring you guys a gameplay video on, so I have no idea what Critical Hour plays like. I have not gotten around to test this one out yet. Next up, we still Rainbow Squad out here. Rainbow Six Lockdown. This, you know, yet another Rainbow Six game in the franchise. This is another one that I got to do a quick little gameplay video on. From what little I've played of these, this is the one I like the most at the time. Like I said, I've not sat and played through the entirety of any of these Rainbow Six games. I've just sampled all of them. Well, you know, stuff Critical Hour, of course. I just sampled some of them. But for what little bit I played, Lockdown is pretty cool. I like the presentation, I like the way it plays, I like the, you know, added, you know, like features and stuff over the previous ones. I think this one's like the best in these like 4 Rainbow games. I think Lockdown is the best one in my personal opinion, is what I played through them so far. But I'll, you know, make a better judgment, you know, talk about it better whenever I get to sit through all of the Rainbow Six games at some point or another. Alright, and lastly, the final game I have in my collection as of the time of this video's recording, and that belongs to Torque, the Prehistoric Plant. This is like one of the few exclusive 3D platformers. That's my note that I put on here. It's one of my few 3D platformers that released on the original Xbox. The original Xbox wasn't really known for 3D platformers like that. It was mostly like the shooter console, or, you know, like as they say, like the dude bro console. So this didn't really get too many platformers on it. This is one of the few exclusive ones. So I thought, hey, I like 3D platformers. This one's only available on the original Xbox. And what gameplay I seen of it looked like it might be kind of cool, so I decided to pick it up, and I did. Now, unfortunately, when I got this, I couldn't tell if it had the manual or not. I tried to figure it out if it did, but it was just hard to tell. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't have the manual in it, but hopefully at some point I can find the manual, and that's all I would need. Now, unfortunately, again, I don't know if you guys kind of saw like the little note I had back here when I flipped the door, so I got to take it off as I was showing the game. But this is yet another non-backwards compatible game, so I can't even like try this game out just to see it until I get me an original Xbox at some point. So thanks, Phil Spencer. Yep, ended on a game I can't even freaking play. Thanks, Phil Spencer. Oh man. Oh, there it is. As of the time of this video being recorded, which was like September 12th. This is my full, and this is everything I have from my original Xbox collection up to this point. Overall, I'm actually pretty proud and thankful for for what I have for my original Xbox collection. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I do enjoy collecting for original Xbox is pretty cheap. Even right now, you know, it's still pretty cheap and affordable. I'm taking full advantage of that. I'm trying to get everything I want for this console before prices run the risk of getting even more expensive, like a lot of PS1, PS2, and GameCube and stuff has. So yeah, I'm getting everything that I want as reasonably quickly as I can. I'm actually almost done. I feel like there's maybe just like a small handful of a couple more original Xbox games I would like to buy, and hopefully I can get those at some point. Hopefully then at that point I'll be done collecting original Xbox, and my personal curated collection here can be complete to my standards, and just have everything I want. And then at that point I can just like knock original Xbox off the list completely as games that I've finished collecting for, and then I can just like I said, sit down and enjoy playing the original Xbox, because like I said, I never had an original Xbox at that point back then, so I wanted to try out whatever games were like only on the Xbox. As you notice, a lot of these are like exclusives for the most part that I never played and wanted to try out. So yeah, hopefully I can finally get those games and finally call it quits for collecting the OG Xbox, and just be happy with that and sit down and enjoy my collection. It's got a few more games, just want to get those out the way hopefully, and then I'll be happy with that, and hopefully I won't need any more real Xbox games that I want. I'll have everything I want. That'd be perfect. Yeah, that's pretty much my video on my original Xbox collection. Now you guys in the comments and tell me what you guys think about it. If there's any games I have you guys want, is there anything on the original Xbox you guys like to collect for or anything like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Stammer35 and I'm out. Please don't forget to rate and comment and subscribe. Peace.